me that I don't know what I'm saying. Maybe my notes app won't work. Haha. Haha. Okay guys, my notes app isn't working. Why would this happen to me?
Okay. So I've raised the tripod for the 4th time. And my notes app is working now. This is what I look like today. Four out of 52. Let's talk about some media. My name is Kenzie Osinski. This past week, I watched one new movie, read one new book, and listened to one new album, as I hope to do for every week of this year. So, yeah, I'm gonna share my thoughts about the things I interacted with this week. Let's get into that, shall we? Maybe? The movie I watched this past week was The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar. Yes, this is a short film from the year 2023, and it was directed by Wes Anderson. Yes, and it is based off a book of the same name by Roald Dahl, whose name I look up every time I have to pronounce it, and then every time I feel a little uncertain if I pronounced it correctly. So, yeah. As expected from the things I stated previously, this movie was very visually appealing. It was colorful, the colors all meshed together lovely, the framing was great, it had interesting shots that were wonderful, and you know, all the things you expect from a Wes Anderson film. This story was eclectic and lighthearted. It didn't weigh like too heavy on your heart or anything, and it still had a strong moral and was straightforward, and also all the things you expect when you have a story from Roald Dahl. Yes. This particular movie followed the story of a guy named Henry Sugar and his like journey to learning how to see without his sight. He wanted to do this so he could be better at gambling. You know, follow your dreams, your passions, whatever it takes. So basically he like follows this guy and he's like, I'm gonna do these things so I can be better at gambling. Passions or something. But you know, he gets all that money, and money can't buy happiness. Yeah. Overall, I would say I did enjoy this film. It was fun. It was short, like I said, short film, 40 minutes only. Easy watch. It was really engaging. I enjoyed the story. Straightforward, like I said earlier. I would recommend it. I think it's easy watch. PG, if that's what you're looking for. But I don't know if it's like my favorite, you know? I am an enjoyer of like stories from Roald Dahl, films from Wes Anderson. So maybe I wanted more heart in it, but also it's a short film. So maybe I'm asking too much. I would rate this film a 7 out of 10 in a solid way, in a way where it just didn't pull at me that much. But still, it was great. It was very well done, very enjoyable, nice film. So would I recommend it? Yes, I would. Those are my thoughts on that for this week. Next, the book I read this week was The Creative Act, A Way of Being by Rubin. Yeah. Circle. This book, there's a pin at the bottom for some reason. My bad. This book was actually given to me as a Christmas gift from one of my best friends and one of my roommates. Same person. I worded that really poorly, but this was a Christmas gift from her, and I appreciate it a lot. It was very meaningful and thoughtful of her. Lovely book. When I was thinking about how to describe this book, I was like, ooh, genre. I'm not really sure where this fits, especially compared to the previous books I've read in the past couple of weeks. But I think it fits best in a self-help book kind of category, according to me and the internet, once I looked this up. This book is all about creativity, you know, in every single facet. It approaches it from such an interesting standpoint where the reader could be a person that considers himself a creative or not. It could be someone who decided to pick up this book at random. And I think that is part of why it's so appealing. From the very beginning, you, as the reader, are given the permission to take what you will from the book. It is not one of those where it's like, you need this, you must have this now. It is very much like, I'm gonna say some things and you're probably gonna be like, okay, that's obvious, okay, that's dumb, okay, I agree, okay, I actually really like that, I never thought about that way. And that is so beautiful in a book. I like that. It feels very aware. I think some people would maybe go to say that the book could be like a little superficial and hold itself above others and others' opinions, but I think because of the way it is set up, and it is set up for you to look at it from your specific viewpoint, I think it avoids those labels from me personally. Review, I guess. This is definitely a book that I want to go back and annotate. I did not annotate or anything on the first read because I was like, I'm gonna read this and I'm gonna form some thoughts, you know? Great. But after reading it in its entirety, I definitely want to go back and like with a highlighter, with a pen, I want to take what I find most fascinating and hold that with me, because I definitely will hold some things from this with me for a while. I would definitely recommend this book, like highly recommend it. I think if you are somebody who is in the arts at all, great. If you just see and want to read it, great, read it. I think anybody can find something to take away from it. It's also very heavy on like getting rid of expectations, and I think everybody can use that. And also that sets you up to take in the book in a lighter viewpoint, and that's great. As for ratings, I think I would say this book's like an 8.5 out of 10 decimals, if you will. I think it's higher than an 8 because it is very much one of those things where I was like, I'm taking a lot from this and I'm gonna hold this dear to me. I hesitate to give it a 9 because I'm not sure, but I do. I think 8.5 is just where it sits well because it has a lot to offer. It has a lot that maybe feels very self-explanatory, and I appreciate that in the book. I appreciate that it lays out everything. Yeah. It just talks to you, and I like that. I appreciate it. Next, the album I listened to this week was Abbey Road by the Beatles. This album was also recommended to me by previously mentioned best friend and roommate. Great, shout out you. You did good this week, you cooked. But Abbey Road, Beatles. Who are the Beatles? I don't think I have to explain that. Yeah, I don't think I have to explain that. The Beatles, they're the Beatles. Iconic, I think most people know who they are. That being said, this is my first time ever sitting down and being like, okay, I'm going to listen to the Beatles. But I did, and I'm very glad I did, actually. Abbey Road was the Beatles' 11th album they released, and it was released in 1969. Facts. Great. This album is delectable. There is so much to enjoy. I think I can like honestly say I enjoyed every single song, and like picking favorites and ranking this album was very difficult for me because like I don't really have any that I was like, oh, this should not be this way. This just shouldn't be here at all. You know, I enjoyed so much of it. Abbey Road is a 17-track album, and I believe, and it runs about 47 minutes. There's a lot of like very full-length songs and a lot of short little like cute ones that I actually loved a lot. Shout out. My top 3 tracks were Oh Darling, Maxwell Silverhammer, and You Never Give Me Your Money. I think those songs are very wonderful in their own like specific ways, and I love them a lot. That all being said, I do have honorable mentions because I loved this album. Like I said, I would say Carry That Weight. Every time that plays now, I'm like, oh my god, yeah. And then She Came Through the Bathroom Window, I also love. That was in my top 3 for a while. Shout out. All in all, I think this album is spectacular. I think it is wonderful and highly recommend because yeah, most people probably listen to it, or majority of it. I knew a few songs obviously because the Beatles, but even then it's like I've never sat down and been like, I'm listening to this song. But it was great. And because of that, I think I would have to say that this is my favorite album I've listened to, favorite new album I've listened to so far this year. So yeah, you should listen to it if you haven't. That also being said, ranking wise, I think I have to give my first perfect, because from all like standpoints of ranking, I think it earned it, you know? Like, I think this album is great. I think to me it's perfect, and I think on its own it is pretty perfect. So 10 out of 10, I think, probably. Yeah. All right, that was my media for the week. My fave this week, I think, is obviously Abbey Road by the Beatles, which I don't think I expected going into the week, but exciting. I think this is another great lineup. We've only had good lineups so far, so I'm excited to see where the rest of the year leads. That being said, leave recommendations. I will get to them. I've been slowly getting to what people tell me to listen to, read, watch. So yeah, leave me those. I will listen to you, hopefully. And thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, maybe like the video or something. I don't know. Anyways, thank you so much. Big love, Godspeed, and I will see you all at the end of the week. Bye bye. No.